Yes, we're back. Patterdale Talk Wednesdays. You know, Live Your Life Dogs. NEPTC, also sponsored by the PTCA. Today I'm here with Bradley and Branden. And you know, we're gonna do what we do every Wednesday night and talk about the Patterdale Terrier. Bradley and Brandon, you wanna say what up to the live?
You want to go first? You can go first. I'm Brandon. Hello to everybody that is going to be joining us tonight. We want to thank you, obviously, for hosting us. But
Thank you guys for being on.
I'm 23 years old, just in case anybody's wondering.
I'm 22.
But we're kind of new to it.
Yeah, we're a little green.
Yeah, I am too, so it's all good. That's kind of one of the reasons why I also started this live so we could all like learn together. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Sometimes, talking basically able to talk about hunting in Patterdale Terrier with a group of people here. So, we're all learning. It's all good. And we were just talking about it. You guys said you got about what, 18 dogs between both you guys?
Yeah, between both of us, it's 18. So what we counted up actually just today. We counted it.
Okay, and 6 of them are Patterdales.
Yeah, 6 of those are Patterdales.
That's awesome. That's cool. Yeah, I'll get to 6 one day.
We're working on getting that number up a little more.
Yeah. What if you don't mind me asking, what bloodlines or kennels did you get them from, or?
So we got all of ours came from except for 2 of them came from Jamie Parks.
And then the other 2, they came from Jamie, but they're from Booth. They're Booth bred.
Okay.
I'm saying I'm saying that right, Booth or Boo. I can't remember how he said it.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure Jamie will be in here. He'll be in here soon. Who's this?
Yo.
Dapper Trapper Loft. Yo. Yep, we're here again. Got some guys to talk about hunting with. When did you guys first get into obviously you guys are into dogs in general because you have 18 dogs, but when did you get into the Patterdale Terrier?
Actually, we just got into them. It would have been last spring, I believe. We got it. It was when we got our first one, and then we wanted some more. So we had to figure out who bred that dog, and ended up finding out it was Jamie that bred him because we wanted more out of his kennel.
Yeah, a lot of people got dogs from Jamie.
They're pretty good dogs. I like them.
Oh, see, we have a question already. What's the other breeds they got? So you got Booth, and do you know what the other breeds? Other breeds. I'm thinking bloodline.
Oh, we got lurchers. We got 2 lurchers, 2 Belgian Malinois, and then we got 6 Yogs, Jag Terriers.
Yeah, it's like 6 or 7. I can't remember how many.
And then we have one
pit,
Jack Russell,
one pit,
one pit game pit.
Trying to think if there's anything else. I think that's it.
Yeah, we like to have a mixture of different breeds.
Hey, every dog's got his job. That's the way we look at it.
Okay, and you work them all different.
Yep.
Do you work them all on the same game or different?
Yeah, just groundhogs, coon, possum, coyote. If we get a chance with the bigger dogs, and fox. We love doing fox.
So is that your favorite thing to hunt? Fox?
Yeah, fox. If I could always do it, it'd be fox and coon in the ground.
For sure. Fox and coon all day long.
What why fox and coon?
They put up more of a fight.
And when it comes down to it, it really gives the dog a sense of how much are you going to take and how much are you going to put out.
Okay. Go ahead.
I was just going to say that it's also the fact that like our quarry around us those are the 2 main things.
Well, it'd be more groundhogs and coon, but you can get a lot more game around and help more farmers out if you're going after just coon. Now, if you're doing groundhogs, it takes a little longer. So if you don't have more dogs with you, you can't get as much game out.
True. Now, you guys said So you guys, that's one thing we always ask on here. You guys think the coon is harder than the groundhog? Because
Yeah.
we had people on here that say they think the groundhog in the ground is a harder fight than
I
the
mean,
coon.
I've seen them both go both ways. The groundhogs I've seen, they can put on a fight underground.
You know what we would tell them though?
What?
Get a different dog.
You'll
But
be
that's just
chicken.
us.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you guys like variety. That's you know what I mean. Everyone has their opinion. It's all
But
good. Everyone has their opinion.
yeah, the fox to be able to dig the quarry that's gonna put our dogs to the test is what we really want to see.
We've dug. Now we finally were able to dig 2 fox this year, and his main jag, actually, he's proven now. We showed him the fox the night before, and we went hunting the next day. Hunted all day, didn't find any game because we were on some property that's pretty much wiped out already. Some of these Patterdale people like to call us the plague.
Yeah.
But then he ended up finding one in a hole. Well, we didn't have nothing with us, and the Jack Russell had slipped down in the hole. No, we didn't have a dig collar with us because that was back at home. We weren't planning on doing no digging.
Mhm.
And yeah, he ended up going down there baying it. We put about, I think, 3 holes and we got to him.
Yeah.
And yeah, sure enough, there was a fox down there.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
Now,
got to run.
what's the you said you got 6 pats. What's the what's the smallest weight and like the heaviest? Are they
8. Right now, she's a little fat. Her name's
Yeah, I
Echo.
was gonna say when we're talking hunting weight, she's close to probably 6'7". When
She's down to hunting weight, she's pretty small.
6-7 pounds. How old is she?
And she's held Coon.
She's a year old right now. Maybe going on a year and a half old. But she holds her own.
Yeah, she you just said she was holding Coon in the ground.
Yeah, she holds Coon. She held groundhogs already underground. Now a lot of times they will flush on her because they can get past her pretty easily.
Yeah, if you get a big boar coon or a big groundhog that's willing to fight, they'll fight for so long and then eventually they just want to get out of there. There's times we'll dig to her and we'll be almost there and they'll flush and one of the big dogs will catch them.
That's what the lurchers are for.
Yeah.
We never missed a groundhog yet that we flushed. We caught all of them.
Oh yeah, huh? It just happened with Dan Sakari, if I'm saying his name right. The last name we never get it right. We didn't miss the groundhog that Echo, or wait, no, it wasn't Echo. Who was it?
Sweet.
Was it Sweet or was it his Achilles dog? Now I'm trying to think what dog that was.
When did this happen?
So we were digging to this one, and the way it went down was we broke ground, we got to the quarry, and when we pulled, we had one of the big dogs on the quarry
that we didn't get.
One dog pulled the quarry out, and then we got the little dog out first, then the big dog pulled the quarry out. But when it pulled the groundhog out, a second one got away from us, and I stepped on it, but that little dude got away. But I was just gonna say that
we should have had a hold of the lurcher that's finished and let the one that was still learning grab the first groundhog that came out, and then my other one, he's smarter, he knows better. We could have turned him, and he would have seen the one running, and he would have went after that one. Yeah. But I got a better handle on him than the younger lurcher I have.
Yeah, and if anybody's wondering, his dog Hunter, who is black lurcher, he comes from Joseph Carter out in Utah, the Mink Man. And then your Roscoe. Where's
Roscoe?
What's
he
that
comes
dude's
from
name?
Sean O'Neill out in Idaho.
Yeah. Yo.
Those are your lurchers. That's pretty cool.
Yep.
That's pretty cool. Now, as far as the like, how often do you guys hunt?
As often as we can.
Every day if we
Pretty much every day.
Yeah,
lately we've been pretty busy getting ready for the Patterdale trial. We're getting ready to throw here, and then we got a Yog trial a month after the Patterdale trial.
Okay, what is the what's the Patterdale trial? Is that
That is August 8th and 9th, I believe.
And 9th.
Yeah, I think I've seen. I wish
Look
you
at the flyer ones.
actually send me the if you send me the flyer on Facebook, I'll pull it up so that everyone can see it.
All right.
And
You know, Facebook.
you guys are hosting that?
Well,
Yeah, we'll be hosting that.
What's your Facebook page name?
Yeah, I have you on my Facebook, but not on you. Don't
It's
have to.
Ronald Freeman. Ronald Freeman - Woods should pop up. Mutual friends and all that good stuff.
Yeah, I forgot. He don't even have you on Facebook.
Yeah.
You said Freeman?
Yeah. FREEMAN. Yeah, but if you send me it, I'll pull it up. And is that who is that can you we could look at this. Oaktown 1Love3 has a question. What's the difference between the terriers you guys have? I think he means as far as the Yag and the Patterdale.
Like which ones we would like better, or what's the difference, like the weight wise, or
I don't know. I mean,
there's a lot different about the Patterdales and the Jag Terriers.
All right, so say a little about it. We had people on here, talk about it before. What's your opinion?
I love the Jag Terriers. They're just, it seems like everyone's trying to go for bigger or smaller. They're everywhere. They're trying to go bigger and smaller, but they're I wish we could get them small enough like the Pats are to dig to them, but I've noticed they don't have like that natural go to ground to them. Like they'll go to ground. It's just they're not like a Patterdale, where a Patterdale will shoot down in a hole quicker. Mm-hmm. They seem to be a little more hesitant to go down a hole. Anyways, that's how ours are. I don't know how everybody else's are.
I don't think Patterdale flyer to you.
Okay, cool. From what I've seen, a lot of people just don't use the Yags. They don't use the Yags for earthwork as much as they do the Patterdale.
A lot of people also say they're too hard, but I mean, if you got more dogs, you can just hunt more.
The way I see it, so there's James Mills is breeding. He's got this line called the JoJo stuff. I'm not going to go into details because I really don't know all that well. From what I do know, what I have seen, some of the dogs that have come off of that line, they do get small enough, but they tend to take. And I've got a guy who would probably back me up on this as far as they do take a lot of damage. It depends on the game, of course, but a Yog's going to take more damage on the ground, personally, from my experience with mine, due to them just being hard. Like they have that no quit. All they want to do is just they want to take care of it. There's quite a few Yogs you can dig to, but a lot of it's just stuff that's too big. I mean, for us at least, you're not going to see us dig to a Yog unless we're digging a ditch or we've got holes that are the size
or big enough Coon in the wintertime.
Yeah.
We love doing that with the Yogs, is doing Coon in the wintertime with them.
And brush piles.
Yeah, that makes sense for a Yog, yeah.
As far as doing groundwork with them, personally, I'm not going to do it. I have done it with my male cowboy.
We'll do it a little bit more here and there, but it's just we like the Pats for the ground.
Put it this way.
Easier.
Put it this way. We're not going to go to the kennel and say, okay, we're going to go groundhog hunting today. Let's grab every Yog here. We're never going to do that. I promise you.
No, I don't think anyone is. I don't think,
right.
You know what I mean? I don't think they use for from what I've been seeing, from what I understand over the years, they're not used for earthwork like Patterdales. Now they might be a little harder, you know what I mean, and take a little bit more damage. But yeah, as far as the earthwork, they're not, they're just not used.
And don't get me wrong, when we talk
way
about
too big.
If I'm saying this right, in the hardness in a Yog, there's Patterdales out there that I've seen already that are harder than most Yogs.
Yeah, I've seen some that are harder.
But, okay. But the ones you have, your Yogs seem harder.
Yeah, well,
I got some pups now that are like 7, 8 months old, and those I've already started them on Coon, and those two are hard, and those are full brothers.
Yeah, we just had them on one today that took a beating.
Who's their grandma? What's her name?
Okay, so the line, a lot of people might know, a lot of people might not.
All of our Yogs that we have are all siblings.
Yeah,
Out of different litters. 3 different litters, all siblings.
so the one, the dad is Blue, the mom's Tilt, and then what it goes back to is on both sides, the mom is Rays. If anybody's ever heard of Rays, and then on the dad's side, it would be Zepp Aluminum. A lot of people have heard about him. And then on the mom's side, it's Roach. And anybody who knows the line better can correct me if I get that wrong. But I'm almost 100% sure that's how it is. But yeah, they create nice dogs.
Yeah.
Angel.
What is your what has been your deepest dig? Been out digging. What was probably like, if you're estimate, I'm not sure. Obviously, a lot of people don't carry a measuring stick with them or anything like that. But what was your deepest dig that you could remember or estimate how deep it was?
On the Yog side or the Patterdale side?
No, just in general, but the Patterdale side. The Patterdale side.
Oh, I don't know.
What was the question?
Could you ask your question again? Brandon wasn't here.
The deepest dig. Like, was it 4 feet, 5 feet, 6 feet, 8 feet?
I think we were just talking about that. I think it was 8 feet.
Yeah,
is the deepest we've done.
Sweet.
Yeah,
sweet potato pie.
Yeah, that's out of Jamie stuff.
8 feet down.
We dig a lot of 6 foot in the middle of the field, and then when we're on the edges in the woods and stuff, the deepest we go is probably 4 feet at the most in a lot of spots.
Okay.
But the deepest dig with one of the Pats was definitely, I'd say 8 feet was sweet.
Yeah.
And how long you say that dig took to get down there?
How long it took from the surface down to her?
It was pretty hard ground. And
yeah.
we were chipping at it.
Freaking clay.
It probably took like
probably an hour.
We had to make it big enough for one of us to get into, so it took us a good hour, if not a little more.
And that's a question I was gonna. How is the because I've never been, but how is the
terrain?
The terrain out there, is it like
we
here in Michigan, it's like
in our area.
There's a lot of spots that are very sandy, fast digging, and then there's fields we won't dig because you got to chip all the way down to them because it's so packed.
It's just clay.
Just clay and rocks.
And this isn't clay like a lot of people think. This isn't that soft clay. This is that hard clay that takes He literally used a hammer one day to get to the one dog to take the claw of the hammer and chip at the dirt just so he can get down. And I'm sure there's shovels and all kinds of equipment, we could have had if we had it to get through that quicker. But for us just starting, we didn't have all the stuff we do now.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's not a lot either, but
that's how it goes. Have you ever lost a dog in the ground?
We have not. That's one thing we and him were talking about before. We don't see how people lose their dogs underground because I mean ours always end up coming out whether we can get to them or not. It's weird. I don't know.
What do you mean? What do you mean coming out? So they just back out on
coming back out? Like they'll end up killing the game and pulling it out to us, or they'll just give up and come out.
So if
we can't get to them, obviously.
Do you
it'll take? We've had our dog
for 14 hours.
Yeah, we've had a dog underground for 14 hours. The stupid part is when we went back to check on him, we ended up just leaving him because it was like so hard. We had to go home and
drop your coat and leave.
Yeah, we just dropped our coat like we normally do for when we used to hunt or when he used to hunt hounds. And when we got back there, the hole was covered up and the shovel was gone. And we were talking to the farmer, and the farmer said it could have been one of his neighbors that filled it in. But we dug down, and he was still there, just happy as could be. Well, I think he did kill the game because he was a little swollen.
Now, do you like dog? Because I know a lot of people who, like you said, or sooner or later they just give up and come out? Do you like the fact that they give up and come out? Or?
No, I don't like that they give up and come out.
We haven't had a lot of them that do, but some of them that we haven't kept have done it.
Yeah.
But to get a dog to euthanize it and then drag it out, it's nice.
Yeah.
My Jack Russell has done that to a coon already, or our Jack Russell. We actually went 50-50 on him. He actually did that one time. We were doing a brush pile, and we had like 5 or 6 coon in this brush pile, and we had to run in every direction. And the big dogs were catching them on the outside. And like the Jack Russell ended up going all the way to the bottom of the brush pile into the ground. So we had to cut all the way through the brush pile to get to him. And then we had to go down into the ground. Well, before we even got down, started digging straight down. I mean, it took a while to get through there with chainsaw, but finally he ended up coming out. And we're like, well, this thing's obviously he lost it or something. Then he goes back down there and he comes out again. He just kept doing that. We're like, well, he must be pulling this thing out. Well, sure enough, it was right inside the hole, and he was trying to get us to get it for him.
It was right at a corner where he couldn't get it out.
He couldn't get it around the corner because it was too big for him.
Mm.
But for a dog to go down, engage, and then come out, you won't see us keep it. There's no reason for that. Now, if we can help the dog in any way,
I mean, we'll do our best to get the dog to engage and stay engaged.
But
Yeah. Definitely want the dog.
But if we got to spend 2 years doing it, we ain't keeping it.
Yeah, it's a little bit too long.
Yeah. Yeah, we try to give dogs a chance. You know, if they're going to show us that above ground and below ground, they're going to engage and stuff. When it really comes down to it, are they going to hold it? And if they do, for how long? Are they jacking it? Anything that really, a lot of people, okay, if we're talking like holes in dogs, I'm sure you guys all know what I'm talking about when I say if that dog's got a hole in it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if it's got holes in it, we're gonna see do those weigh out the good in the dog, and if they don't, then what was I saying? if the holes weigh out the good in the dog, we're probably not gonna keep it. I mean, it's just there's no point when you can move on to something bigger and better and better. But
yeah, and that's the way a lot of people look at it. Is they're not gonna take that much time trying to get a dog right.
Yeah, we've
gonna move on.
We've culled a couple. I mean, it's not Patterdales yet. I mean, we haven't culled anything as far as the Patterdales go, but there's some other stuff we've already culled.
That's good. Yeah, so Patterdale talk. So that's good to hear that you don't have to pull any Patterdales, and the ones you got are all doing good.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think it's because they're all out of Jamie's stuff. They're all doing good.
Be careful.
No, shouldn't say
Jamie,
that. But
Pops is a good dude, that's for sure.
Yeah, definitely. He definitely knows his stuff. And I know a lot of people who got dogs from him, and yeah, I never really heard anyone that's not satisfied. So
we've heard some. I mean, we've heard good and bad from both sides, but yeah, I think when it comes down to it, each line is always going to have that.
I mean, you're gonna have calls no matter what you do.
Yeah, that's just part of the. That's how
part of the dog world.
Yeah, that's just part of the dog game. That's just how it works. I mean,
and I've been into the hounds, into the curs, and I've always heard good and bad about any line that is out there. Even Patterdales and the Yogs and the Jack Russells. There's people who just prefer different dogs over others, and
we like to have a variety.
Each to their own.
Yeah, definitely. There's definitely, but that one thing, it doesn't matter the breed. There's always gonna be a few out the litter that just don't make the cut. You know what I mean? No matter what type of work it is, either.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Could be.
We've had a couple people that asked us if what was that damn question? I forget the question. My mind's all over tonight.
I know you said your favorite season. What's your favorite season of hunt period? I know you said you like
the winter time. When the snow's flying.
Winter time.
And why is that? Is it
All the
just
Coon are in the ground. My fox are in the ground.
Everything's diggable
Yeah, except for the groundhog. That's the only thing that we don't dig in the ground
in the wintertime.
or in the wintertime. They're all dormant.
But
so that's funny. I
Summer's
mean,
fun. It just gets too hot for the dogs.
yeah,
You got to really watch yourself and make sure they're not overheating. If we hunt in the wintertime, we like hunting next to water. So that way the dogs can go cool off whenever they want.
you mean summertime?
Or in the summertime, yeah.
yeah, I got what you meant. That makes sense though. I mean, everyone in pretty much deals with the same thing. You know, you try to get out early when you're hunting, just because you don't want to deal with that midday heat, as far as
Yep.
you and your dog overheating. So
Yeah, so we work in the RV factory, so it's kind of hard for us to get out there in the mornings because we're already up and at work until
yeah,
11, 10 o'clock or 11, 12 o'clock in the afternoon, sometimes even 2 o'clock. And so then we have to go in the evenings to go hunt when it starts cooling down.
yeah, and
But
I posted this up the event August 8th. So it's sponsored by the PTCA and hosted by you guys, right?
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, this should be
Austin, Dan Safari.
Dan, he's gonna be here too. He's gonna be helping us out with it.
okay.
Dan's an OG. That's all I'm gonna say.
Who?
Dan.
What's his-
We'll be
It's-
talking
I-
to him this Friday.
Yeah, he's
I
a
would-
really
I would-
interesting guy.
Yeah, I'll be talking to him this Friday, so I look forward to that. Yeah, and for those who are watching now, this Friday, which would it is the first Friday that we actually that I'll actually be going live with the Patterdale Talk. But yeah, this Friday I'll be with Dan live at 10 p.m. So guys, tune in if you're not doing anything. If you're watching now, like, comment, subscribe, share, all that good stuff. You know how it goes. So what was I ask you? Oh man, what was I gonna ask you? As far as that, now this is we've been talking a lot about the collars and the trackers. You guys use the Bell and Flint collars?
Yeah, we use the Bellman Flint trackers and the box for from the Bellman and Flint.
Okay, so you use all that. You don't use Peeps at all.
No, we don't use that stuff. I wouldn't mind trying it, but I think I'd just end up breaking it because of the peeping sound.
Yeah. Yeah, it can get annoying, but a lot of people like the Peeps a lot better. Oh yeah, here's Jamie. A lot of people like the Peeps better from
Good evening from the
everyone I
swamp.
spoke to pretty much. But yeah, there goes Jamie Park right there. Yeah, we was just talking about you, Jamie, and some of your dogs. These guys got a few dogs from you, and they said they're all putting in work. So I'm pretty sure you're glad to hear that. But I'm pretty sure you guys keep in touch with Jamie anyway, right?
Oh yeah.
Yep. Yeah, we keep in contact with him.
As you should, as you should. Is there any? So is now that you all right? So you got Jamie, do you look, and when you go to get another Patterdale, are you gonna go to the same place, or are you ever gonna
Yeah, we'll probably
grab anything else, or try something different?
we'll probably stick with Jamie for a little while until
Mhm.
we decide to probably end up breeding out, and we want something that's good, and then we'll start looking around, seeing what lines are better. Probably ask Jamie whose line would be the best to go with. He'd probably know better than we would.
Yeah, definitely get his opinion for sure. Yeah, that would definitely be a smart thing. Get it, see what he thinks. Now that your little dog, you said she's about a year and a half, and she's what, 6-7 pounds when she's
When she's at digging weight, she's about
at
6,
digging
7
weight?
pounds. Well, we say digging weight, but we kind of keep her on the fat side because she
Yeah.
doesn't need to be small,
Yeah,
and give her some more muscle and stuff, so that way she can have that power to keep him in there.
yeah, I
Till
agree.
we get
It's actually nice to have a dog that you don't have to worry about the weight when it comes to digging, because a lot of times, like the Sweet and the two Booth dogs, we're gonna end up worrying about weight when it comes down to it. If we're gonna take them digging, we want to get some weight off of them.
What's your
But-
biggest dog? heaviest
Probably the
dog.
Mounds. Oh, you mean the Patterdales?
Out of the
Yeah.
Patterdales, not like out of your
Yeah,
out of
yeah.
18, out of the Patterdale.
Be Dora.
Yeah,
She's from Jamie as well. She's probably 20,
She's
25 pounds,
20
something like
pounds,
that.
right around there.
Yeah, and with
She went back to
she'll-
Jamie to get bred.
Oh
but,
yeah, she did, didn't she?
Yeah, I took her back just 2 days ago to get bred. He's gonna be breeding her double up to her brother, and then after that she'll come back to us and we'll keep hunting her.
Okay.
We like using her in the wintertime for brush piles and stuff. She's big enough for it.
But as far as
Yeah.
far as digging groundhog, it'd probably be Sweet
Yeah, digging groundhogs is definitely sweet.
or her dad Wahoo.
She'd be, her dad is actually bigger. He'd be more like 15 pounds. And Sweet's actually about 13 and a half, 14 pounds.
Okay. Now the small dog is also from Jamie.
Yeah, the small one is in her. We have her half sister, which is about, what do you think, Brandon? 11 pounds? No, she's 11 pounds
Honey?
fat. And when she's digging weight, she'd be
About 8.5, 9.
9 pounds.
She's got
something
more.
like that.
She's got more leg on her too. If you look at Good Guy Gertie, that'd be. I'm gonna say it wrong. I know I am, but Echo would look more like Good Guy Gertie, and then Honey, she's definitely got a lot more leg to her. But we all know leg don't matter.
It matters when they're above ground.
Yeah. It can matter. I don't know. I guess an opinion, but some people think leg matters in the ground too, as far as how long they are and stuff like that. But
Yeah, we don't really mind. We like leg on our dogs so they can catch them above ground if they do flush and they come out behind them. But we got long-legged dogs for the ones that flush. I enjoy when the fox comes out of the ground and the dogs end up catching it.
Yeah.
We did dig one with Sweet Potato Pie. A fox. We were out in the middle of the field. It was 35-mile-an-hour winds, and it was thinking it was in the negatives. And we were out there digging, and she went down in the ground, bayed, and then she went quiet for a while. We're like, oh, this ain't good. So we started digging. We had to get through like a foot of frozen ground. And finally, after we got through that, it was easy digging again. And as soon as we broke through, the fox flushed. And once the dogs caught it, my Mal and my lurcher caught it, we realized that Sweet went quiet because she had a hold of the back leg. It was trying to flush on her. And she was holding it down there. She held it down there for a good hour, if not longer. But she was doing good.
That's cool. That's always awesome. That's always awesome. Now you said your two smallest dogs. This is a question now your two smallest dogs are you said females, right?
Yeah, both females.
And lately if everyone that has like a smaller dog, it seems to be females. Anyone in the chat, does anyone know of anyone that like has any small male? Do you guys know anyone that has like any small males?
We don't. And the mink man actually just got 2 more small pets as well. His are actually smaller than ours. They're actually fat and they're like 6-7 pounds each. And he has females. We wish one of us would have got some males.
Yeah, that and they're females. So anyone that maybe Jamie.
Maybe Jamie would have some.
Maybe has someone, knows someone, but does anyone in the chat comment if you do know anyone that has like small males? Because I mean, I have my Patterdale. She's about 10 pounds. If I put her at like hunting weight, as you know what I mean, as you guys was talking about, she's probably about like 8, 9. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But she's a female.
Right. Yep.
You know
They're
what
all
I mean?
females, it seems like.
Yeah. Anyone in the chat know anyone with any small males? Because
that's one thing, me and Brad have talked about was how small do people really want to get to, and are they going to have the mouth and the ass to stay there and hold that quarry, depending on what it is. Obviously, a coon, like we've seen with Echo, she takes a lot of damage, but she doesn't back down, and that's what we like about her.
When we hunt Echo, there's times where we'll have to lay her up for a good week, if not longer.
Yeah,
because she's so hard.
So we try not to shoot our dogs up with, like, obviously we have decks and stuff like that on hand. but we try not to shoot them up too much because we want them to naturally heal on their own.
Yeah.
And heal fast.
Not to
I've
try to
noticed
change
that's
the
one thing.
subject, but
We have Brandon's Yog, his adult. He can heal fast, but then his sister does not heal fast at all.
yeah,
She's like really slow.
Yeah.
and there's a
So
big
those-
difference too. But we've known, like, some of the dogs that we have shot up and gave stuff to get them to heal faster because we were low on dogs and we were looking to do some more hunting and we had to get them healed up so we can hunt them. We shot them up, and those dogs there, it seemed like they take longer to heal. And maybe someone will say something different. We don't know, but from what we've experienced, it definitely, like,
It weakens their immune system.
yeah, if you shoot them up and they don't heal, and they heal fast, it seems like their immune system goes to shit, which it is true with some stuff that you use, but that's why
Yeah.
we try not to. Right now, we don't really have to shoot them up with stuff. I mean, if it gets
We
bad,
just keep a close eye on them, make sure it don't get infected, keep
Yeah.
it clean, and don't shoot them up with anything.
but
Yeah,
Don't give
maybe
them any
someone
medicine.
in the chat maybe has a little experience in that thing. But that's so yeah, that's two things we got for the people in the chat. Do they have the experience with their immune system getting weak? And does anyone know anyone that has small males right now? Because
yeah, well,
I
I'm
haven't
curious
spoken
about
to
that.
anyone.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I've
and you
always
guys, I
heard
mean, it's
being
funny because you
small.
guys said you was thinking the same thing or talking about it. So
Yep. I've always
I
heard
have-
small females, but never
Maybe
small
in a
males.
couple years when you get us back on, we'll have something for you to show you.
yeah, we hope maybe I might too. Hopefully by that then.
Yeah, yeah.
There's Jamie Park. Says I have hard dogs. Mark Ferguson has some small ones, little male like Mickey Rat.
Yep. How much he weigh, Jamie? Do you know?
That was my next question.
Like, we can talk small all day, but I'm
he said
curious
he loves
how
hard
many-
dogs.
how many pounds.
Yeah, we know, Jamie. We know you love hard dogs. That's what we got. We love them too.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's one guy who has some little
Mark
males is
Ferguson.
Mark Ferguson, but
Crack me up because I was just talking to him about that when we were down there 2 days ago.
about small male dogs.
About sizing them, like how far down people are gonna go. Because I feel like you can get you'll end up too small.
Yeah, if you end up too small, they won't have
What's
the
up,
mouth or
Andrew?
the balls to hold them down there. They might have
Yeah,
the confidence,
or they're
but
just too small in general. Yeah.
yeah, they just push. The
Who is that?
Groundhog just push 'em.
Anthro? Is that how
Yeah,
you-
yeah, Antho, my guy. He's one of the guys. He's always in here every Wednesday. A lot of normally we go on around 10, so a lot of people might just be coming in right now too. So, but that's good. But Jamie Park, he said you saw him. He's about 10. He said you guys saw him.
I didn't.
Yeah,
I
I'm trying to
wasn't
think
there.
who was it, or like where was he at? I'm so confused right now. Call me off guard. Trying to think.
I don't know. I wish I'd have been there.
Was it?
What
I'm
was he
guessing it
there
was
at your place, or are you talking about Rooster that we brought? I wonder if he's not talking about Rooster.
No, he said
Rooster.
Oh yeah, he said he's like Mickey Rat.
yeah, the name is Mickey Rat.
He's probably
So,
thinking
yeah.
I'm crazy now. Probably thinking I smoked too much of that green stuff.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see what he says. But yeah, I've been talking to a lot of people, and
Man,
I guess there's a few. I mean, obviously, I'm guessing there's a few because there's a lot of people out here with Patterdales. Obviously, I'm not talking to everyone that has Patterdales. You know what I mean? I'm still meeting a lot of people and stuff like that. Pretty know Jamie
Yeah, it's
Park
not
knows
gonna
100 people more than me that have Patterdales. But
yeah.
Lately it seemed like all the small ones been females, and maybe I'm just missing it or haven't seen it. I mean, you guys said the same thing. You agree and was just talking about it, but
well, here's another thing that I was going to bring up to you was in the Yog world. Let's jump back to the Yogs. Everything you have goes back to Mickey Rat just about.
so I guess
everything is.
It goes back to
Mickey Rat. Yeah,
Mickey
but
Rat.
which male was that you're saying that's 10 pounds is what I was wondering.
What was you gonna say
Kinda
about the
jump
Yag?
off. Huh?
You was gonna say something about the Yag.
Yeah, so not to jump off subject, but when it comes to Yogs, Jags, whatever you want to call them, if you look at the whole spectrum as far as like the broad spectrum of the Yogs, you'll find like 100 studs that are good, that are badass, that just put it down to one good bitch. And I know me and Rob Vowles, he's a dude in the Yog world, and Lane Vowles, his son, we've talked a lot about we want to see more bitches out there that are just bad to the bone, just like the males. Like I've got a badass male dog, but
don't hear very many good females out there.
When it comes to the Yog side, I'm looking for more bad females. I want to see more stuff. I mean, they're out there, but there's not as many. Like you could find, like I said, 100 stud dogs, to each female that's good. But when it comes to the Patterdales, it does seem like there's way more females that are that size rather than males. And who knows? They're either getting cold or they're not being born.
I mean, at the same time, naturally, with like all breeds, the males are always a little bigger. You know what I mean? When it
Yeah,
comes to
right.
dogs, at least. So there's that. But again, we're talking. You know, if there's 100 dogs lined up,
That's right.
and it's 50-50, you're gonna have 50 males, 50 females. You might have at least 20 to females that are small. You might get like seems like, at least right now, it seems like you might get about 5 males that are small out of the 50. You know what I mean?
Right.
But I could be wrong, but just from what I see.
Unless people are keeping them in the dark, where they at?
Yeah. Jamie said, Mickey Rat weighs about 10 size and use him for downsizing. He's independent inside the house.
Oh, okay.
Okay, yeah.
I bet we seen him when I was down there as well.
I know
this
who you're
last
talking about now.
winter.
Yep. Yeah, Mickey Rat, he's funny. I thought he was talking about another male that wasn't Mickey Rat.
Yeah, so I guess Mickey Rat's small and
Yep.
And Ferguson has some
small males.
Yep.
Excuse me. Ferguson has some small ones. So I guess we're looking for some small males. We'll have to check him out. And I don't know. I'm not positive, but I'm pretty sure Mason might have.
I think I've heard that he has some.
I've heard of that. I don't know.
I just don't know. It's just the same. I just don't know how many. It's like the same thing. I don't know how many other males are coming out small. Because I got my female from him, and she's like she's what, year and 3 months. She's pretty much done growing, and she's about 10 pounds. You know what I mean?
Yeah. How much game do you dig to her? I mean, on an average on a year. Like, do you try to get her out as much as you can, or?
Yeah, like we go out. So I'm in Massachusetts. I go out all the time with my cousin Keith and my brother. But like, let me, for example, okay, I could go to New York, with all the orchards and all that, the apple and all that.
With Shahib and them, or like you got your own?
Yeah. I go out there with Biggs or whatever. That's the bro. And
Yep.
so I could go out there with.
Get out there. I want to go out there pretty bad.
Yeah, there's. I mean, where you guys are at, there's also game everywhere. But where he's at, there's game everywhere. So if I could go out. Say if I went out like where I'm at, I went out just 5 times, whether in 2 weeks or whatever the case might be. You know what I mean?
Yep.
You might get on like 2 hogs where I've been.
Dang.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Because it's like it's a lot of everything's rocks. Everything's like there's a whole. It's like trees and rocks and branches. It's not like though. And I mean we have farms that we're connected to the guys who own the farms and stuff, and we let them go on the farms there, but it's still not like game heavy. You know what I mean? Still not like lots and lots. So like I was saying, for example, we might go out 5 times out here, and you might get on 2 groundhogs, maybe 1 coon or something. And most of the time it would probably be like 1 coon, 1 groundhog if you went out 5 times. to be
Damn.
honest. You know what I mean? But
You never want to come.
yeah, exactly. Where I've been in New York, where I've been with Biggs, and we got 6 groundhogs in 2 hours.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So
Yep.
and not maybe obviously if we got that many in 2 hours, we wasn't digging 6 feet. There's probably like 4 feet digs, and there was a lot of guys out there. There was there was one day there was probably like 8 of us, so we was just lifting dirt quick. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like I said, I've seen where in like 2 hours we got 6 out there where you could go out 5 times where I'm at, and you get maybe 1 coon and one G hog. So
Dang.
Tell you
know
what,
I
if
mean?
anybody wants to come hunting with us, we're gonna have Gabe and Calvin out here on the 12th. Anybody's
short.
welcome to join.
Short notice, but come on.
The 12th of this month, July.
Yeah, it'd be
Yeah.
Saturday.
Yeah. Yeah.
Pack
And
them
then you have
dogs and burn them. We'll put y'all on game.
And then for those who wasn't here when we spoke about it a little earlier, this is also coming up, hosted by these guys, Bradley and Branden, August 8th, presented by the PTCA. So
And
for
Dan.
those who haven't seen it, and Dan,
Yeah,
Dan,
and
I
him.
wrote that in Dan. So yeah, the people who haven't seen it, try to make it out there if you can. I probably won't make this one, but I'll definitely be in the next one in New York, August 29th. But yeah, if you can make this
Yeah.
one,
We
definitely
didn't
go
have
out and
our
make it.
yard trial the weekend. We definitely go out to New York.
Yeah, we got a Yog trial that weekend, so we'll be doing that.
Yeah, I mean that's how it goes. Same thing with me. I got a couple things going on. That's the reason why I can't make it out the August 8th.
Yep.
So that's just that's how life works sometimes. What's this? Anthro says, "Nice. Jamie sounds like the Jaguar needs some Wookiee infusion."
You
Well,
mean
how
like
they
this,
put
Wookie? This little dude is something else.
How old is that pup?
He's 12 weeks old.
12 weeks old.
Just got him from Jamie
Yeah, recently. How long ago?
Just
2 days ago.
yeah, we just got it back.
Okay, real recent.
Had him on a baby possum earlier today.
How'd he do?
Oh, he loved it. He just wanted to kill this thing. He did good. I made him track it a little bit. He did pretty good tracking it.
That's what's up. That's what's up.
He's a little wore out from following us around all day.
Oh, just regular. Yeah, just regular walking.
Hey, as soon as you can work a puppy, get to it. That's all we'll say to you.
Yeah. What's the workers you guys? Workers. What's the earliest you guys start working your pups?
As soon as they come out the mom.
I mean, we start them as soon as we can.
It really
like we don't give them anything that'll bite them, but like we'll start them on rabbits and stuff.
Yep.
Anything that'll go in the
Soft.
hole if they're whole dogs. But yeah, we'll start them. I mean, once they're older, we'll start them at 6, 7 months old.
So when it comes to like Patterdales, yeah, we start them whenever they're ready. We'll show them a rabbit. If they want to chase it and grab onto it and stuff like that, we'll keep it going. If they don't care and they come running to us, they're wanting to play, then usually we'll just, play with them and put the rabbit away until a couple months later, and then we'll try it again, or a couple weeks later. It just all really depends on what the dog wants.
It depends on the dog and the situation.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Yogs, yeah, that's a whole nother ball game.
Yeah, Yogs seem like, I mean, when they come out, they're ready to kill something.
Yeah, they got more.
I started my my 2 pups at about 6, 7 months old, something like that. They're doing great.
But so far as Patterdales go, we've gotten the youngest we've gotten, which was from Jamie, they were right at a year old, and the 2 boot dogs that we just got are right at a year old, and we just put those 2 on a coon, and they're doing pretty good.
That's cool.
Better than when we first started them or got them.
That's how it works, right? Sometimes it takes a little time, right? A little patience. Dapper Trapper asks, the Michigan coons get big. What's the biggest coon y'all got?
32.
We've killed 32 pound coon. The average is probably, I don't know, 20 pounds. I mean, they get big around here, but you don't see it very often, especially where we've already hunted.
And we're down in the Southwest area, so we're not up in the middle or up in the UP where they get. I've heard of them getting up to 40 pounds, and if somebody says I'm wrong, they can go up there and hunt and find out for themselves.
They get big up farther north you go, it seems like, until you get out of the crops again, and wherever there's no more crops, then they start going back down in weight.
But you know how Dapper, I'm gonna tell Dapper this too. A lot of people say that, oh, they got a big coon, and this is something that we've talked to a few people with. If you might have a big coon as far as how fat or heavy he is, but it's just like today, the coon that we put on the booth females.
That thing was small, but
it's a monster.
You don't see very many coon that are like that one is.
Like if you get a coon that is, for a big coon for us, we're going to consider a big coon is what a monster coon is to us. And what that is a coon that's going to come out of that cage and be ready for a fight. Not some fat boy that's just going to come out of that cage and start running for his life. And what I mean by that is you got a fat coon that's big, but you got a decent average sized coon that's a monster that's going to wrap on that dog and really put him to the test if they're going to fight back or squeal and run. But
yeah, no,
that's something.
Yeah. And I've heard people say that before. You know that they'd have smaller coons that gave up a bigger fight, and that could just be the attitude of that animal. It happens with all animals. You know what I mean? There's always sometimes that little feisty one that just don't bullshit. You know what I mean?
Yep. Yeah, the biggest coon we've ever weighed that we know of was 32 pounds. So
33?
32. We actually walked up when we first moved up here in Michigan about 6 years ago. We actually were out hunting. We had to walk everywhere. We didn't have license, nothing. We were like 16, 17. We were just doing what we loved to do.
I had my best cur dog.
We had one cur dog and a family dog that was a blue heeler something mix. We don't know what the other breed was. But we actually walked into one of the farmers' barns that has no more coon anymore because they let us hunt everything out. And we ended up taking 6 30-pound coon out of there. We weighed every single one, and they were all 30 or more.
Yeah.
Those were
Go ahead. What'd you say?
That was a long walk back. It was like a mile back, and we had 3 coon each, and they were about 30 pounds or more. That was when the fur markets were a little better as well.
Fur ain't shit now.
It's a good day. Now I was gonna say I think it get down. Can you talk about the Jack? Oh, what? This is what I asked for, Chris. Now you said I know you guys have a variety of dogs. Is there any two breeds that you guys hunt with together that you feel like just they work good together? Whether it's your Jack Russell, your one Jack Russell with the Pats, or the Pats with the Yags, or the Lurchers with the Pats, or is there just two of them that you feel like they just for some reason those two breeds just work good together?
So okay, I know my brother is gonna have a different, about the same, but a different perspective. But I know for a fact one thing we agree on is our Jack Russell. He comes from Nate Valley and them, Mark Thompson. Him and our sweet potato pie work together really well. On coon in the wintertime, in the bigger holes, brush pile, stuff like that. For some reason, it's almost like they click.
So if we send Sweet down in a brush pile or something with more dogs, we can never send her in anything tight with another dog because she'll just fight them. But with that Jack Russell, those two get along pretty good.
Yeah, we don't know why, but they like click. It's weird.
Those were the first 2 terriers I had since when I got back into it.
Yeah.
So that's all I hunted for a while.
So I'd say those 2, and then overall, we run at least 2, maybe even 3 dogs sometimes on the ground as far as terriers go, and then 1 to 2 big dogs. And it sounds like a lot, but a lot of times we might not have that second or third ground dog on the ground. We like to use the little dogs to mark, but we also like using the big dogs. We really like to see all the dogs working together. They have to work together. We don't do it any other way. I mean, we will sometimes just take the big dogs or just the little dogs, but overall, we like to see them work together. If they can't work together, either dad's going to whoop somebody or they're going to just not be able to hunt together. Put it that way.
I think to answer your question, I think Hunter, which is one of my lurchers, he works pretty good with any Patterdale we have. Like he'll sit there at the hole, watch the hole, and I mean I think it's also because I have a good handle on him, so he really knows how to listen and sit there, wait for the ground or a little dog. If they do flush something out, he's ready to help them dispatch it.
Yeah, and he watches when, like, if the little dogs are on game above ground, we dig to them and then pull it out. He's the main dog that we'll pull out and let dispatch it if it's not already, due to the fact that he'll grab the head and control it. Yeah,
there's a lot of times we won't even reach in the hole. We dig it big enough for one of the mouths or one of the lurchers get down there, and they just seem to pull it out every time. I mean, we'll just stick their head down there, they'll grab it and pull it out.
But yes,
we use them like terriers sometimes.
Sweet and Gunner are the only two I'd say that work together the best. Well, that, and then there's Honey and Echo. They're half sisters. Those are the smallest ones we have, 9 and 11 pounds when they're heavy, and they work together good. But we have to watch it sometimes because they do get a little possessive over the game. When we do, I mean, we try not to put two dogs in the ground at the same time, but
we will.
There's sometimes we will. Because something's not going right, we need that extra dog to either help or, that's about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we got some, I mean, that's all good stuff to know.
I know there's a lot of the Jack Russell people do not allow more than one dog in the hole, but
around us anyway, those Jack Russell people.
Yeah, I don't know what everybody else thinks, but we'll do one dog. 3 is almost too much, but 2. It's not a big deal if we have 2, as long as they both have collars on.
A good example of why
most people, from what I heard, from what I understand, it's normally 1. Some people do 2, just for the same reason. Though after you get like 3, 4, you know what I mean, the trackers will just start going crazy. There's too much going on. You know what I mean?
The chat.
Yeah.
Oh,
tracker.
Oh,
trackers. Yeah.
So, to kind of give people an example, when we say we're putting 2 dogs down, the most of the time when we're putting 2 dogs down, I don't know how everybody else's coon are around them, but around us, if we get in a brush pile or maybe a hillside where we get a coon set and we send 1 dog in, a lot of times those coon, they don't flush. All they do is run from the dog, and the dog can be on their, on them, engaging with them, but then they'll turn and run, and we get a lot of that. Am I wrong? Where they run from the dog, like Sweet was that one day, and then you put that second dog down, and they hold them up.
They know the tunnels better than the dogs do, so the dogs are looking for them, and then we end up just sending another dog down, and they'll end up being able to corner them or pin them in there somewhere.
Yeah, I think we spent 45 minutes one day just waiting on 1 dog to bay up, and that dog never
she was underground. She knew there was something down there, and we knew there was something there. There was tracks and sign everywhere.
Well, that was when they started snarling. Is when we were like,
and then we heard them fighting a little bit too, and all of a sudden that dog lost it. Well, we didn't have any other dogs that were ready to go in the ground right away, and so we just had to pull her out and go. Sometimes we gotta leave the game.
Yes, that's how it goes, man. That's how it goes. I mean, I know people. Oh, that's what I was actually earlier. All the game you catch, do you guys kill? Because I know people who, if they could get the dog off, and sometimes they'll let the game go, just to let it breed next year.
Yeah,
I don't know about that. No, we got so much game.
I've never done that, but I know people who
we don't do that. I mean, we'll use them. We'll pull them off, and we might use them for training or something. If we got pups or whatever, but we've never really let any go. I mean,
they all die at the end of the day.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, around here, there's too many cattle, too many horses, and crops and stuff. That if we let them go and the farmers find out, we're screwed.
No, and people say
They'll kick us
people
off.
say you can act like you like we are one farmer that's really close to my mom and dad's here. He says that you better kill them all or I'll kick you off. That's literally his words. And so the first 2 seasons we went in and killed 362 coon. And it from then on we really didn't try to kill that many. We just didn't go out as often on that farm. But when it comes down to it, I mean, we'll kill as much as we can, but I know a lot of people, they say, oh, if you got 3 coon in the hole, take the 2 and leave the 1. But what they don't realize is that 3rd one they leave, it'll leave. It goes somewhere else and finds a new home.
It'll leave that property.
And that's on experience.
They're not stupid.
Yep.
I mean, we wiped out this one farm over here, and every now and then we'll find some coon on it. But if we get some neighboring property where they'll let us go in for 1 night or 2 nights or whatever, there's coon everywhere, and that's right over the fence on the other side. There's just coon all over the place. They just know not to cross that line.
A coon's radius, they'll travel 5 miles. If you go catch a raccoon, paint it blue, and turn it loose 5 miles away from where you caught it, and I promise you it will show back up.
As long as it wasn't tortured.
For real.
Yeah.
That's been proven.
I agree. Let's get to some of these questions in the chat. Greg said, out of 6, how many in the ground? I think he was talking to me. They were all in the ground. 3 of them were smaller ones, but they were all in the ground. We talk about the Jack Russell. We could get back to that because these guys do own one. But we're gonna get to these questions real quick. Greg asked 6 with how many dogs? I think was 4 dogs, but there was 2 dogs that were the vets doing all the finding. The other dogs were like learning, including my dog.
Some pups.
Yeah. Coon in the ground are easy. Hey, everyone has their opinion, Eddie. I'm not knocking you.
They're fun too.
Bradley and Branden agree, so to say. So good to be spreading the information of Patterdale world. They're fascinating. Yes, they definitely are. Agree. They definitely agree if they think Coon are tough.
I wondered if somebody wasn't going to say that. I've heard other people tell us that too, but we really haven't ran into that issue.
I mean, we did it. We had one coon or groundhog when Dan was out here with us. That was a tough groundhog to get out of the hole. And before it came out, there was no bottom jaw.
Well, okay. Let me ask him, Eddie. Let me ask you: is he still on?
Yeah.
Just he's I would think he's still on. You can ask him and he'll answer you in the chat if he's still on.
So when you say tougher groundhog than a coon, would you say that like they put up a meaner
like a
better fight, or are you talking like harder to get out of the ground?
From what I've been hearing, and I've also heard people say that the coon, and then some people in areas where they got Fisher and stuff like that. So obviously that's gonna outbeat both those. You know what I mean? Something like that.
Yeah.
But
I don't know. Maybe we just got some pussy groundhogs.
It's getting them out. It's getting them out. The fact that most of the time when the pats are in the ground with the groundhogs, it's like face to face, and obviously their teeth are no bullshit. And then you have groundhogs that will like collapse the dirt on the dog.
Yeah.
And basically just suffocate the dog with dirt, bury the dog.
I mean, they're definitely harder to dig to. The groundhogs are, but to fight on the dog, like they don't put up. Like they don't put up a bigger fight.
We haven't really experienced that yet.
Yeah.
And that's in most of your groundhogs are obviously in the ground.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not like they're just running around like that.
I wondered if
there's some times that we will have some groundhogs above ground, and the lurchers will catch them without us knowing about it.
Yeah, I've seen it, but most of the time they get to the holes before once they
There are some people, a lot of people actually in the South that do use Yogs on the pigs.
Yeah,
I don't know
I've
if they
seen
put them
that.
on big pigs, but I know like maybe like a 20-pound feeder pig or something like that on the wild hogs.
Patterdale's work on hogs.
Yeah, people use those
Jamie
too
does
all
down
day.
there in Florida all the time.
Big hogs.
Not big
No, but
ones.
not big ones, just the small ones.
Yeah,
Take
yeah,
take a
that makes
bulldog in a
sense.
pit and go catch a mama, and then send the pats to go get the little babies.
Yeah, yeah, that makes sense.
The little 40-pound pigs.
Greg said nice. Jamie Park, nose or mouth?
For us,
I
like
think he's
what we prefer.
Dapper. Yeah, I think he's asking nose or mouth. What you guys prefer? Dapper's saying nose.
Yeah, I gotta agree with Dapper on that. Nose.
Yeah, if they can't find it, they might as well not be around
Yeah,
it.
I mean
But
you could have the greatest mouth in the world. Pause, but if
but
you
Jamie,
can't
when
find the shit, then what does it matter?
Yep.
You know what I
Jamie's
mean?
made that point to us a couple times about he'd rather breed for the mouth in a dog rather than the nose, because every dog's got a nose. They can always smell better than a human, which is true. It is true. But when it
I
comes
mean,
to
damn, if you put
seeking,
it that way.
huh?
I said when you put it that way, it makes you think a little. Not
Yeah,
think
I
totally
know.
different, but I get what you mean by that. Like that is
Yeah,
true.
yeah. I mean, we'd still say nose all day because we don't want a dog that can't find its own quarry. But what Jamie said, I mean, I can agree with, which I've never heard before.
Not from anybody.
Let's try our best to get 50-50, right? That would that would be maybe the best. But yeah, Dapper Trapper agrees nose. And I'm assuming a lot of people would say nose, but I mean, then again, I would say there's probably a lot of people who would agree with the mouth.
Yeah.
I mean, if they don't have a great nose, then you can always have a lurcher with you that does have a great nose.
Man, I'm still interested in like
Yeah.
trying to figure out what Eddie means. Like, yeah, we're green. Don't get us wrong, we are green. But what groundhog has ever whooped his dogs, or what's going on?
I mean, there's groundhogs that took off dog's whole nose.
Yeah. No, I know.
You
I've
know
heard
it's
of
face to
that.
face. You know, you know what I mean.
We've
But
just never had that experience.
Yeah, we've seen friends and family that have had that happen, but we
I'm
haven't
still,
had it
as
happen.
far as my opinion, guys, I'm still like I get because I get what you're saying. Like the groundhog, I mean the coons just lynch on with their nails. They're biting, they're scratching. They
Yeah,
literally lynch onto the dog. Like when, as far as when my girl grabbed the coon, the shit was biting her nose, and you know that's what we trying to see if she, you know, soft bitches up and tries to run or whatever. And she didn't. She did her thing and kept shaking and kept going to work. But he literally grabbed her nose and then just took his arms and legs and just wrapped around the rest of her
Yep.
face.
yeah.
You know what I mean? It was like, so it was like I'm still like borderline with it, like as far as
Now,
what I think,
Now, I
because
don't know. Every time we go dig groundhogs, the
I still
groundhogs
need a
come
lot
out of the
more
ground
experience.
easier
So.
with less of a fight, it seems like.
Yeah,
well, I guess a good question for him would be how long is he allowing the dogs to engage on the groundhog before? I mean, is he going till death? I mean, is he pulling them out before they finish the groundhog? Is he, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it'll probably be about maybe getting them out because I mean, like you said, you got dogs that will come out on their own, and sometimes you go like that. I've seen dogs, a lot of dogs that just it sucks kind of, but these dogs ain't coming out. Like they're just
Yeah.
you're gonna have to get them out or they're gonna die down there.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And obviously that's how I would say 97% of people that hunt with their Patterdales want them. You know what I mean? They don't want a dog who's gonna come out. And you guys said the same thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but yeah.
And if they
It seems
dispatch
like
it,
that's the
they can come out, but they better be bringing that with them.
Yep.
yeah. And obviously, I mean, for the most part with the groundhog, I know it's probably gonna have to be dead. You're not just pulling the groundhog out the dirt. You know what I mean? I don't see that happening, but yeah, I mean that's still something that a lot of people a lot of people comparing and talking about as far as the coons and the groundhogs. It's talked about all the time, and we got some right here.
I got
Steadfast performance. Do Pats finish raccoons and
Here.
groundhogs? Now y'all talking about? Yeah, Pats finish coons and groundhogs. If finishes you mean as far as kill them? Yeah, Patterdale's kill coons and groundhogs. Now y'all talking about how hard to keep? Yeah, we talking about hold, like we was talking about as far as nose. Oh, these guys did they freeze? Hopefully they come back in a second. But we was talking about we was comparing nose to mouth. I think that's what you're talking about. We was comparing nose to mouth. And a lot of people say they want a dog, they rather have a dog with better nose. A lot of people say not a lot. From what I experienced, most people say they rather have a dog with nose. But yeah, rather have a dog with nose. But Jamie Park said he'd rather have a dog with bite because every dog has a nose and smells better than humans anyway. Which, when you put it that way, definitely makes sense. But yeah. Hopefully that answers your question. Steadfast. Greg, we dig to save the terriers. Yeah. And then, I mean, you dig to save the terriers, and you're also a team. I mean, from what I understand, from my understanding with when it comes to Patterdale Terriers, you're a team, and it's their job to find it and hold it. It's really not even their job to kill it. It's their job to find it, hold it, and
We had some problems.
guys back. It's all good, man. As long we got your back. We got your back. It's all good. But I was just answering well, just commenting on something that Greg said. We dig to save the terriers. And I was saying, yeah, and from my understanding, when it comes to the Patterdales, you're definitely a team, and it's not even really their job to kill the game. It's their job to find it, hold it, and then you get them out of there. Of course, you have some people that are gonna let the dog kill it, or do whatever. Or sometimes again, dog might get in the hole and kill it before you get to it, or kill it and pull it out. But that's just what it is. But at the end of the day, you guys are a team. Their job is to find it, hold it. Your job is to find them, get it out of get them off of it, take care of it, and move on to the next hole, move on to the next dig. So yeah. And Bradley and Brandon, you guys agree? That's pretty much that's the anyone in the Patterdale world knows that's pretty much that's the deal. It's you guys are a team, and it's not necessarily their job to kill it, but to find it and hold it, and then you come in and do the rest.
Yep.
Did I hear that correctly? It took you 1 hour to get down 8 feet. You guys.
Yeah, we use a hammer with a claw, 2 of them.
When there's 2 guys doing it, it goes easier.
It was probably sandy soil for 2 feet.
Good 2 feet.
And then 2 or 3 feet of clay.
Of clay, then there's nothing but rock after that.
It was like almost like asphalt and sand mixed in after that. But
So a whole bunch of different shit you had to deal with on that day.
yeah, we try to stay out of that field. That field was no fun.
Oh, so it's one of those.
We actually dug the fox out on the edge of that field, but not
one
like
of
that
those
deep woods.
Yeah, and it's funny. Everyone I talk to that has a good amount of LYL, there's always 1 or 2 fields where they're like, we just have our reasons, but we don't fuck with that field. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
whatever the reason
We'll
might
help the
be.
farmer out, go there and shoot him.
Yeah.
Shoot him.
Or
let it be, and let it be our breeding fields.
Oh yeah, that works. That works.
Not that they're actually doing their job.
Steadfast. For my dogs, coons are much tougher over groundhogs. Coons have
Yeah,
him.
I agree.
I feel like it also depends on the dog. Like, if you've got a dog that's harder on Coon, a Coon might not take as long. But if you got a bay dog on a Coon, it's going to take forever.
Oh yeah, and I mean, even for dogs that might just go straight in the hold. Some dogs, again, like we was talking about earlier, some dogs, go for the neck a lot quicker. So you have you have those killers, and then you have those dogs that are brawlers, where they're just kind of they might get to the neck a little later on, but for the first grab, or for the most part, they're just gonna grab and shake.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You know what I
I'd say
mean?
we prefer a mixture over a bear. Something that's going to fight but still bark, and we
Yeah,
can still hear what's going on.
because I've seen my brother has a dog where this dog they just go straight to the neck all the time. You know what I mean? Where my dog right now, she's a little bit more of a brawler, where she's just gonna grab and start shaking crazy. Obviously, she's young
That's
and
how our
still
Jack
learning,
Russell
but
is.
yeah, you know what I mean. Greg said exactly. I think he's saying exactly when I was talking about you guys, as far as you and the dog being partners, and
Yeah.
the job as far as them finding it and holding it. Steadfast, we talking in the ground, because in all the years I have been working these terriers, above ground, yes, but in the ground, they're easy.
Groundhog
Yeah,
Dog.
yeah, I think he's
Sure.
talking about coons,
Oh
because
yeah.
he said that coons were easy in the ground.
I know they
Yeah,
seem to put up a lot more fight.
you said what?
I think they put up a lot more fight
Coons
in the
in the
ground. I
ground.
mean, they put up a good fight above ground, but I guess we really don't see it a whole lot with the terriers because our long-legged dogs.
So you think coons put up a bigger fight in the ground
Yeah.
than even groundhogs?
Yep.
Yep.
I mean, we've had one dog or one coon in a culvert for 5
I
hours.
remember saying that.
This was bad. I mean, it made all of our dogs look bad. But it was like, I don't know, all of our terriers that we had at the time went down, got chewed up, and couldn't go anymore.
Like, we're talking 7 hours.
No, it was 5.
Was it 5?
It was 5 hours.
Okay, 5 hours, 14 dogs.
That was also like the lurchers and the owls weren't there. There's Yogs. We had everything.
No, like this coon was a monster coon. 5 hours fought 14 different dogs. And
I thought we
every
had crashed.
freaking dog on us. Like they literally there was one come out with a lip hanging, the other one had his ear fucked up. It was bad. I even called my buddy that's an hour away and I was like, dude, you need to bring every dog you got and bring them over here and get their asses kicked by this coon because he ain't coming out. It was fun.
It's just that type of coon.
Yep.
Steadfast.
But that thing wouldn't lasted above ground.
Oh, okay. That makes
I've
sense.
never worked a coon underground. Thanks for clarifying.
Oh, there's Dan.
Yep.
We are. We've been doing this stuff all day. Inedible. Hey, we only take that when we're hunting.
As a can. These guys are digging 8-foot holes. They're exhausted.
Nah, not today.
I would honestly, I mean, as far as the people we interviewed, I don't know. I don't want to say it's the deepest, but it's definitely one of the deepest. As far
Yeah.
as the people we
It seems
Yeah.
like that's about as deep as groundhog.
good amount of
I'm not sure they
people,
go deeper, but
yeah. Yeah, sorry. I know it's definitely one of the deepest. I don't know. I mean, one of the deepest. I don't know if it's the deepest.
I've heard people digging 12 feet already.
Oh no, I've heard. But I'm saying as far as people
The
we
people on
interviewed
the
here.
field.
Yeah,
Oh,
as far as interviewed people, I think there was one person that maybe said 10 feet. But yeah, as far as stuff I read and stuff like that, yeah,
yeah.
I've heard of pretty deep. You know what I mean?
I've heard of people digging badgers that I would never dig to. Ain't no way.
I mean, it's the like you said, we like who said it earlier?
Dig to the terriers.
Yeah, we dig. Yeah, Greg said it right here. We dig to save the terriers.
Yep.
They're doing their job. I find it sucks, but yeah, you have to do
It,
your
it
job. Like
amazes
get them
me
up out of
too
there.
that the box and the collar can reach.
Yeah, that's what he said earlier. Now was I think we did you want to talk real, again, this is Patterdale Terrier Talk, but it's also brought to you by Live Your Life Dogs, where we love all dogs. So do you want to talk a little bit about your experience with your Jack Russell at least? Just
Sure.
can you talk about the Jack Russell and its
He is the
overall?
first terrier we've dug to a fox, and he did really good.
We've noticed he struggles a lot with groundhogs, and I don't know. I think we messed him up by hunting him on Coon in the wintertime. They were short, easy digs, and he didn't have to go very deep. Now I think he wants to do that all the time.
So you noticing that he doesn't want to go. I mean, honestly, I haven't heard of too many people that use Jack Russells for earthwork anyway. It's usually like ratting.
There's a lot of people around that do it.
Yeah, a lot of Jack Russell.
Yeah, it's usually like ratting. But I mean, how do they? I mean, respectfully, I know that they don't compare to a Patterdale, but I mean, you said you ruined your Jack Russell, or you think
Ours
you
is
ruined them, but do you other people around you do their Jack Russells do good in the
We don't
ground?
hunt with them. We don't like the way they hunt.
straight up. We do not like
Listen, I
to.
get it. I respect it. I understand.
But as far as he's I'd say he pays most of the time.
He bays underground, and then he'll above ground. He just grabs and rolls with.
He's
It's
so
funny.
to watch.
He's a great little dog.
But I will say that little Jack Russell will find Corey in places our dog run over. Not even think about.
He's good at finding game. He's got a good nose on him.
The problem is keeping his ass out of it because he fucking slips in there.
Yeah, so he just goes. Well, yeah, I guess you guys learned. You guys gonna have to start keeping that Bell and Flynn on him.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's what we got to do when we run him. He's got the helmet on.
Now, just to just to answer a little bit more for the person in the chat. What do you? I mean, comparing him to a Patterdale, what's the? Is there anything you would say they do better than a Patterdale?
Not really, except for well, I don't think there is anything.
No.
I mean, I'm sure there are better Jack Russells out there, but I don't think there's anything that he does better than on pads.
Yeah.
Better watch his marking.
Yeah, and from at least again, I'm no expert and I'm still learning, but from what I heard in my experiences with Pat and Jack Russells in the past, yeah, they're not messing with a Patterdale. But I think we all know that.
I'd say the Patson might be a little harder. Oh,
yeah.
so Dan.
Oh yeah, Dan.
Okay, so what happened was
I ended up turning the dog loose and my dumbass forgot to turn on the collar, and so she had flushed a coon,
No, ground.
or a groundhog. She flushed a groundhog, and it went up the tree. And so we shook the tree. Dan jumped up there. He shook the tree, and my mouth jumped in the water, grabbed it, killed it, and we couldn't find the dog anywhere. And the collar was cut off, and so we were like, "Oh, she's already came out of holes before, and showed up later on." So we just kept going, and then after we were done hunting, it was too hot to keep hunting. So we ended up going back to the truck, loading all the dogs up. Then we went and looked for her, and ended up finding her. I mean, how long was that before we found her?
Well, it says it right there. It's 2 hours.
Oh yeah, it was about 2 hours.
I think it was 2 hours.
Yeah, but then finally we ended up finding her, and so we started digging, and we broke like 2 holes. Or no, we were opening the entrances bigger because we were just gonna dig until we get to her.
Well, like Dan said, we were just gonna tunnel to her.
Yeah, we were gonna tunnel to her, and then ended up popping a hole in a random spot, and ended up finding her. And she ended up having a dead groundhog in there. She couldn't get around the groundhog to get out.
But I don't think she would have. If she could have got out, I still don't think she would have left her.
Yeah, I don't think so. But she stayed with that groundhog the whole time.
For 2 hours. While Dan and us just kept hunting. Just because we've had her come out before, so we just figured she'll come out. If not, we know the general area she's at.
There was only like two sets of holes in that spot that she was.
But Dan and his girlfriend heard her. I couldn't remember if she was barking, growling, or what she was doing. But they heard her in the hole, and they definitely confirmed that she was in there. But yeah,
that was a good time.
That was just a week or 2 ago.
2 weekends, I believe.
A good time. Yeah, but 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours, 36 hours. There's a video we was watching. Dog Pepe. I was in there for like, in, I don't know, London or France or something. It was like 6 days.
Oh crap!
And it was like rock. It was like rocky. So the dog was obviously able to breathe.
Yeah,
more, you know what I mean? Because it was like rocks. But yeah, it was like 6 days. One of these lives we actually showed the video. It was one of the earlier lives. We actually showed the video in the live of them doing the whole 6 day, and they called out a whole bunch. And it was you know, back in the day too. So the equipment was a lot different. They called out like the whole Patterdale Club in their town or whatever. They all came out and helped and stuff. But it was like a 6 day thing.
Yeah.
Dog came out walking and barking too, huh?
It'd be a long day. I hope we don't ever have to do that, but
yeah,
I'll do it.
Yeah, I guess the guy is, at least in the video, he said he brought her, but she was fine. Brought her home, fed her, drank her. She was out working like the next day.
Oh my!
So it is what it is. But what's this? Do you feel about Jack Pat mix? I don't think you should mix the Pat with anything. I mean, people mix it with the pit, but those are coon hunters, coon and fox killers. That's what I call them when they mix them with the pit bull. I call them coon and fox killers because they won't.
We don't mix a whole lot. We should.
Me personally, I'm not mixing the Patterdale with anything but another Patterdale. But that's me personally. That's me.
The way I see it, as long as you keep the Patterdale and the Jack Russell original, and not them, it's cool. But try it one time and not have everybody trying it, it'd be different. But if somebody tries it, the next person's gonna try it, it's just gonna turn into the watered down Jack Russell again.
Yeah, I don't. Again, there's certain breeds that mix things together that make. I mean, as far as like lurchers, they make sense as far as what they're doing. They're giving the lurcher side something, and then they're giving the other dog the speed. You know what I mean? Stuff like whatever the other dog is. But I mean, a Pat and Jack, what does it even do? I mean, the Jack does nothing for the Pat. Even if the Pat may make the Jack side a little bit more, you know what I mean, turned up and a little bit more of a digger, I don't think the Jack does nothing for the Pat.
Yeah.
As far as like, you know what I mean, as far as for me,
That might do something for the Jack then.
yeah, that's what I just said. I think the Jack would do. I mean, I think the Pat would definitely do something for the Jack as far as making it more of an earth dog, more, you know, more aggressive, better hold, a little bit more, you know, not a little bit more, but a lot more gameness, a lot more fight, take a lot more pain. But I don't think, I don't think the Jack does anything for the Pat side, which makes that pointless.
I feel like
in my opinion.
nowadays, if you're gonna cross something, you really gotta have something that's improved the breed and not water it down or make so it's not gonna do what the original breed's gonna do.
Exactly, and that's what I was saying as far as like what they're doing with like the lurcher. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you gotta.
When you mix, like when you mix it with the pit. Obviously, it gives the pit the speed. It gives the lurcher the bite, the aggression, the pain, the stamina, the withdrawal. You know you know, the strength for what I can't think of the word, but the strength to take more pain. You know what I mean? So that makes sense because both sides are giving the other side something, but you know, something like the Pat and the Jack, I don't think the Jack does anything for the Pat, so makes it kind of stupid. Same thing with like the Patterdale with the Pippo. You know what I mean? That gives the Patterdale a little bit more size, obviously a little bit more strength, bite power, all that stuff. You know what I mean?
Yep.
You know what I mean? It gives it will give the Pippo really probably just size as far as just making it a little smaller.
Yep.
Not
Yeah,
a
my
lot
lurcher
smaller, you know what I mean?
he's not really a lurcher. He's got 40% Whippet, 18% Patterdale, 18% Pit, 18% Staghound, and then he's got some Yog in him as well.
Yeah.
So he's a mix of everything.
Yeah. But he's not. I mean, I guess maybe the stag, but yeah, a lot of people.
He's got more. I don't know. Yeah, he would have more Staghound than Terrier, but for Pit.
Yeah.
But also he's actually got a coyote pup in Michigan.
That's cool. Dan said she would have never. I'm guessing he's talking about that day with you guys with the dog that was in there for 2 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah, she would have never left.
And that's something we was talking.
Talking.
Yeah, and that's something we was talking about earlier, Dan. As far as you know, we don't want dogs that will stop and just come out. We rather dogs that, you know, won't come out and will just keep working until you get them out. Like you said, she would have never left. That's what matters. Not intentionally though. I mean, if it happens, it happens. But again, I think it makes the Jack a little better or a lot better. It doesn't do anything for the Pat's side.
Yeah, you almost have to make sure both breeds are going to improve each other, like you said with the Pat and the Pit.
Yeah, there ain't no purpose.
Yeah, I agree with Dan.
Yeah, I agree too. It's surely worse than the Patterdale. Definitely. Didn't intend for it to happen. To be honest, she hits the holes out here. Like, I mean, I'm not surprised she hits the holes because she's still a small dog and she has Patterdale in her. So, yeah, you know what I mean. She's still a small dog and she has, respectfully, she's still a small dog and she has Patterdale in her. So, yeah, she's not gonna. I'm not surprised she hits the holes. But I mean, if she's working, she's working. Put her to work.
Hey, if it
I
happens,
wouldn't breed her. I wouldn't breed it or breed her any other pups from that litter. But I mean, if they're alive and working, shit, work them.
right. Well, that's what I was going to come back to. Was a lot of people ask us why we don't stay with one breed. Well, we've got a lot of different training that we hunt. The quarry's different, so really, each dog has its own purpose for us. And if it's gonna work, we're gonna. That's what a lot of people don't understand. Like, obviously, you got a lot of stay true to the Patterdales and the Jack Russells, and it's really to each and their own liking. But for us, we'll just hunt whatever the heck wants.
Whatever's good. Whatever's good.
Yeah, and I mean, if in at the end of the day too, if you like dogs and you got the time and the space, why not? If I had the space, if I had the space, I would. I mean, I have. I guess I'm gonna by the end of the summer, I'll have 3 dogs, and they'll all be 3 different breeds. So, I mean, I have my pit bull, who's kind of like just the house the house dog, kind of like this protection dog. I don't hunt with him because he's can get he is dog aggressive if he doesn't, you know what I mean? If it's a male or dogs that he's just not used to being around. So, that's a no-go. But I have my Patterdale and I plan on getting a lurcher. So,
Yeah,
you're gonna have to do your pup soon. I'm hoping,
So yeah, if I had the space, I would definitely have a lot more Patterdales. Like after I get this lurcher, yeah, the next several dogs I get out after that would definitely be Patterdales.
Yeah.
Like
You only need one lurcher.
Yeah, I'm gonna get
Good
this one just to work with, and every other dog I get probably for the next 10 years will be a Patterdale after that. But yeah, if I had a little bit more space, I might get something just cause I liked it, just cause I like the breed or something. How much self-preservation does the Patterdale have? I mean, some of them is just gonna go till they die.
Yeah.
Period. Like I know a lot of them, and that's how people want them for the most part. What's that, Dylan? For the most part, that's how people want them, and a lot of them are gonna just go. They're gonna go till you get them out the dirt, and if you don't get them out the dirt, they're gonna die sooner or later. You know what I mean? And
kind of how the
most people
are
want them.
too.
Huh?
That's kind of how the Yogs are too.
Yeah. I mean, that's a lot of terriers. Same thing with the back in the day, with terriers. That's just how it goes. It just go, get to us over. So, but yeah, as far as the Patterdale, yeah, I mean, people rather have ones that are just gonna go in the dirt and go to work until you get them out.
Yep.
So,
that's my favorite one to have.
Yeah, and from what I've seen, most of them are that way. As far as the ones that are turned on and workers, obviously, if you got someone who's just keeping their dog in the house, not really doing much with it, that might not be the case. But yeah, if you got a Patterdale that someone's working with and putting to work, most of the time, yeah, they're gonna die in the dirt if you don't get them out.
So
a good one, Dylan does have it. Any. Yep, what I just said.
Tell me you're gonna do whatever.
So we were up
Tell
north.
me about our badger encounter.
Yeah, we were up north, and one quarry we've always tried to go after was a badger. Dan wants to, and we want to. We want to dig one so bad. But we were up north. We were hunting over there at
Chris Atkins.
Yeah, with Chris Atkins, with Calvin and all them. And the hunt ended kind of in the evening, and me and Dan were
kind of ended a little early because we got one of Calvin's guys will be fine.
Yeah. So Dan said something about he knows where some badger sign is, so we were like, let's go. We loaded up. We drove for, what was it, 45 minutes?
Yeah, about 45 minutes.
And we were going through the woods, and we come across this. It was just the butt of something going into a hole. And Brad yelled at me, it was like, badger.
Yeah, I could see it was a badger, but it kind of was the light didn't hit wasn't on yet. So before we got there, I ran up to it to make sure it wasn't a porcupine or something because we didn't want I was going after a porcupine. I got up to the hole and the badger had turned and looked at me and it kind of acted like it wanted to come out for a second and then it saw me and went back in. I don't know why it didn't just grab it. I should have. Anyway, we grabbed the dog, collared it up, and put it in the hole, and it was already gone. I mean, that's a wham. Like it didn't even look like there was anything in the hole. It went in probably 3-4 feet and just stopped, and that badger was gone. Really wish we could have got it. We'll have to go back up there with Dan again.
Yeah, badger digs are pretty hard, I heard.
Tell you what, the first time Dan came up here, or came hunting with us, he just, one night, he was like, you guys want to go hunting? I'm like, sure. Come on down whenever. Well, he had to come down there that next morning, and we went out. We had a late start. It was like 1 o'clock in the afternoon when we got started. And we started on the brush pile. There was nothing in the brush pile. And then all of a sudden, the dog started fighting underground. Or down in the brush pile. And finally, we figured out that there was actually a hole down under the brush pile. So we started cutting down to it. And it took us like 6 hours to get to the dog and the coon. And finally, we ended up getting him out. The dog ended up killing one, I believe, right? Or how was it? No, we didn't. We got the one, and then we ended up pulling that dog out and getting the second one. Yeah, we had to leave the third one. Yeah, we ended up leaving the third one, but that was a lot of fun. Just on one pile all day long with Dan.
That's how it goes sometimes. Definitely a fun day. Anthro. I know some great jacks, although more rare today, but still a few worth digging through. Some of those guys have better jacks than Pats, and some have had success in the cross. I mean, I believe all that, and yeah, red. I mean, when it comes to a lot of dogs, as far as the working ones, it's rare today because people just don't use the dogs for what they're bred for, and that's what like all breeds. You know what I mean? So I believe that as far as the work, some of them guys have better jacks than Pats.
There's too many pet people out there.
Yeah.
Want to
I
breed
mean,
them for pets.
pretty sure there's some good jacks out there. I mean, my opinion, if you was to get, 3 of the top jacks against 3 of the top Pats putting in earthwork, the Pats are gonna do better, but to each our own. To each our own. And I'm pretty sure people have success with the cross because again, it's still a small dog and it still has the Patterdale in it, so and it's still like you said, I've heard of jacks working and doing stuff like that. It's just not for the most part, not a lot of earthwork, and for the most part, I don't see them doing anything with like coons or anything like that either. It's normally just ratting from what I see, but I'm not everywhere, so.
Yep. I know around here there's a lot of people that hunt Jack Russell, coon, and groundhog.
Yeah.
And possums, because they do put up a big fight. So we do take possums.
Yeah. You said possums put up a fight?
Oh yeah, they do. Dan, he'll tell you.
Yeah.
That's usually when they're running or if they have babies.
So when we do the one of the things we ask on here is that we'll have people rank the game, like the Earth game, as far as like they'll rank them, and like I was saying to you earlier, some people have put most people have put the groundhog over the coon. So ranking them, obviously, you guys got it coon.
Yeah.
You guys got it coon. Now, do you have a groundhog over the? You have a coon groundhog, not. You don't think the
possum? We do probably fox, coon, groundhog, possum.
Okay.
Possums are mean. There's some possums I've never seen that do something like that before.
Yeah, from what yeah, from the average from what we get on here, most of the time it's always the coon and the groundhog first. Most of the time it's the groundhog again, unless it's someone who there's somewhere where there's badger and fisher, then those are always higher up. You know what I mean?
I definitely want to do some badger.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I can't believe we lost them that quick either, Dan.
I would like to one day. One day I'll definitely get there, go somewhere where they have some. Jeffrey Dahmer got the first one. Achilles helped at the second.
Yeah, that's what it was. That's how I'm gonna send you a picture of how big of a brush pile are. Like what we really deal with. A lot of people would look at it and say they're not going on it.
Which one is that? Oh, that was when Roscoe got stuck in the pile. We had a lurcher decide to go in the pile, and we cut to him.
I'm trying to find one with Dan and us, but I can't.
He ended up killing a coon down there. I don't think we ever took a picture of that pile.
I got him and Achilles here, but that's it.
Says for those who don't know, hold on, I'll pull that up in a minute. But, Dan said right here you got CHP. So for those who don't know what that is,
do you know what that is?
I'm actually pulling it up right here. So
it's coonhound process.
Yeah, everyone can see what it is now.
Yeah, I've never had a dog get here in our county.
What really surprises me is that Dan kept coming back to dig with us, even though his dog ended up. A lot of Jack Russell people looked at us and said, "We ain't coming back."
And I mean, Dan's definitely one of those people that understand it happens.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? So, you said you sent me a pic, right?
Yeah. Just to kind of,
I got better ones than that.
I'd tell you to send it, but we're using it.
Oh yeah.
So that picture there, you gotta cut it open, especially if you get a dog that goes after a coon in the ground. You gotta dig. Well, cut through all that and then dig to wherever the dog's at.
It can suck sometimes, but it's still fun and interesting seeing what they have under there.
This pic right here, correct?
Yeah.
Oh, so you cut through? Yeah, you can see you cut through all that.
Yep.
That was when we were. That's not even the biggest pile we had.
The dogs that get up in there, a lot of the coon will flush out if they're just chilling in the brush pile. But then you have some that are actually in the ground underneath all that.
So we like to send bigger dogs in there so we don't have to go under the ground.
Yeah, save the digging dogs for you. Groundhog
and
stuff like that.
Dan says the Patterdale is the premier go-to ground dog. Yes, it is.
Yes,
sure
I agree.
Everyone in here agrees. I'm pretty sure everyone in here agrees.
Oh yeah. Unless someone wants to hand all of us a couple of Jack Russells to try to prove us wrong. I wouldn't mind if you
Can you tell what animal is gonna be by the burrow? I know it. I know with groundhogs, it's a lot smaller. I know with fox, fox tend to have like a curve on their holes.
Yeah,
well, I realize that
turn.
Fox like to take up groundhog holes in the winter. In the springtime, when they're having kids, they seem to just make their own or steal another groundhog around us.
I always seem the thing though. Like as far as my experience seeing fox foxholes, they always have like their entrance is always obviously a little wider than the groundhogs, a lot wider most of the time, but it's like always like an immediate like turn.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like they all their holes are like curved and go
they do.
straight.
They
You know
go.
what I mean?
They'll probably go in about a foot, maybe two, but that we rarely see that. And then it curves really sharp.
Yeah, exactly.
And the dogs, depending on how big your dog is, he's going to struggle to get around that bend. You might have to break it open to get him started. But
Now the coon, it's hard to tell. Sometimes you'll think you're on the groundhog until the dogs get on it, then you hear them fighting, and you know it's.
yeah, for us,
Yeah, definitely hear the difference. Coonhound paralyzes. Yep. I'm game as shit, boy. Hole size, tracks, feces help determine curie, but there could always be an intruder in there. Exactly.
Yep.
Definitely.
yeah, you usually go off of.
For real, that is not a brush. Like that. He's right though. That's not. I mean, I guess it's still considered a brush pile. I guess, but those are not.
We call it a brush pile, but it's actually just a whole bunch of trees stacked on each other.
That's definitely like logs stacked on each other. Brush piles are like, maybe a couple of logs. Everything else is sticks. Maybe a couple of big sticks.
That pile
definitely a log pile.
actually has a lot more of their tree top. Some of the piles we'll get into actually has trees in it. So you could be, send your terriers in, and we've done it with the Patterdales. You send them in, and they'll end up inside a tree because that's where the game's at.
Yeah.
You can ask Dan how it is to find those piles. He's done it once with us.
Yeah, I'm sure he has. Yeah, and I've dealt with a matter of fact. Last time I was out, Coon ended up going out, but it ran basically straight into the guy I was with, one of my friends, ran straight, like basically straight into his chest.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And I think it bounced into some bush, and I'm pretty sure it went up one of the trees or something. But that's how it goes. Dogs went in one way, it went out the other way.
Yeah. When we do brush piles, we like to have the long-legged dogs running on the outside of the brush pile. So if anything does flush, they'll catch it.
Mm-hmm.
We have had Coon escape, then dogs get on them, the long-legged dogs, and they make it up a tree, and we just go there and cut the tree down and get the Coon out like that. But the farmer that we do have these log piles that has these, he doesn't care about any trees. He wants them all taken out. He took a lot of our hunting land that we had.
Yeah.
Just gotta go get more.
Cut down a good amount of trees there. Because that's a pile. That's a nice size pile. We dug Patterdales out of holes in the ground. Out of log piles, yeah. I mean, it makes sense. It makes sense. Live somewhere where there's a whole bunch of shit on top covering it. So why not? But yeah, we've been on here for what, almost 2 hours. You guys
I didn't even realize it was that long.
Yeah, been 1 hour and 53 minutes. Shout out to everyone in the chat. Shout out to you guys for coming on. Like, comment, subscribe, share, please. Yeah, no problem, Mazen. We'll definitely, definitely get you guys back on here in a couple months or so. By then, we'll both have more stories and probably more dogs.
There's a good chance we'll have more dogs.
You gonna shoot for 18 dogs too?
Huh?
You gonna shoot for 18 dogs too?
Yeah, man. But you guys want to say anything to the chat or the people watching before we get up out of here? I don't know if you wanna, if you have any obviously you have the thing coming up August 8th. I could
Yeah, if you can make it
throw
out,
that
make
up.
it out.
Yeah,
We
throw
definitely
that up there
appreciate you
again.
showing up.
So you guys are
Enjoy
doing
having you
that.
all day.
Do you guys have any like, dog pages, IG pages, or anything like that you wanna let the people know about, or
Uh,
if not, that's cool too. You know how it goes.
Calvin's got a page made for it that they're keeping active or whatever. If y'all want to check it out, I think it's under the PTCA.
Okay. Okay. So they can
Um,
find it there.
Yep.
That's cool. Okay. So they could find more about you guys there. Again, I want to thank you guys for coming on. I want to thank everyone else in the chat, everyone who was asking questions, comments, Anthro, Dan, Park, everyone who comes in here. Oh, finding Miss Casanova, Greg, Dapper. Appreciate Eddie, Steadfast. Appreciate all you guys for coming in. Again, like, comment, subscribe, share, tell a friend if you know anyone who, likes the Patterdale Terrier or trying to get into Patterdale Terrier. Let them know that we come here Wednesday nights and talk about it, where they can come and learn more. But again, you know how we do. If they're not gonna work them, they could just stay away from the Patterdale Terriers if they're not gonna work. You know what I mean?
We
You
don't
know
want
how
no
we
pet
do
people.
here. Yeah, exactly. They're not couch dogs, they're earth dogs, they're workers. But yeah, thank you guys for coming through. Again, see you guys. Actually, let me say this real quick. Dan was in here. I will be 10 o'clock this Friday, the 11th. I will be going live with Dan. And this is the first show we did on Fridays. Normally we won't do it. I will put the event on Facebook, but yeah. So this Friday I'll be going live with Dan, which will be another great show. And hopefully everyone in here can make it. If we switch up the time, I'll put that in the event, and just look out for that, because if Dan wants to do earlier, we could probably do that too. But we'll have that conversation with him. But thanks for everyone, guys. Thanks for coming through again. Thanks for everyone for tuning in. Live Your Life Dogs, New England Patterdale Terrier Club, PTCA. We out. Peace.
Peace.